Hello everyone, my name is Alexis and welcome to today's class on flexibility for beginners. Make sure that you have a couple props. You're going to need at least one block, if not two, and if you don't have a block, use a textbook or even a shipping box. You also want to make sure you have a yoga strap, or if you don't have a strap, a belt, a leash, a jump rope, anything that's kind of even a long piece of rope would do the trick, or a towel, whatever you have. It doesn't matter if it's yogic or not, just grab what you have. We're going to begin in Tadasana, feet parallel, stacking joints over each other. Transfer your weight into your left foot and lift the right knee out in front of you. We're going to be making some hip mobility circles, so if you need to hold on to something for balance, do so. From here, open up that right knee out to the right, just as far as it naturally goes. And then from here, lower that right knee back down behind you so it meets the left knee. Cross it in front of you and then open it back up to the right. We're just going to do that a couple times. So from it being open to the right, lower it down behind you to meet the left knee. Cross it in front of you, open it up. Once more, lower the knee, circle it down to meet the left, cross it up in front of you, open it up. Beautiful. If you need to shake your standing leg, do so. With your knee open to the right, from here, just close it across you into the left and then open it to the right. Close it in front of you to the left, open to the right. And you're just opening and closing it. Beautiful. Let everything go. We're going to switch to the other side. So transfer your weight into the right leg and lift the left knee up in front of you. Open the left knee out to the left. Circle that left knee down behind you to meet the right knee. Cross the left knee towards the right and then open it out to the left. Beautiful. Continue just like that. Lower the knee behind you to meet the right. Lift it towards up the right hip. Open it to the left. One more time. Lower it down. Circle it up to the right hip. Open it out. And then from here, just cross the knee in front of you to the right. Open it to the left. Cross. Open. Cross, open. Beautiful. Let everything go. Give everything a little shake. Bring your hands on your hips. Widen the feet a little bit wider than your hips. And then we're just going to do hip circles in one direction. Really get into this. Bend your knees if you need to. And just pivot your hips here. We're just creating a little bit of space in the hips. And then go ahead and switch directions by making these gentle circles. This helps you create a little bit more range of motion, create a little bit mobility and flexibility. Beautiful. And come back to center, give everything a little shake. And we're going to come into our first pose. Now, if you know that forward folds are hard for you, go ahead and grab your strap. We're going to begin with a standing forward fold. So I want you to lower the strap so you can loop it around the balls of your feet. So you're basically going to be standing on the strap, and then from here, use the strap to pull yourself forward. I want you to keep your back pretty straight. Imagine someone has looped a finger in the back loop of your jeans and is pulling your bum out behind you. If you need to bend your knees, do so. And go as far as you can, as is comfortable, and then relax your torso down. The beauty of having a strap here is it creates a little bit of resistance. It creates a little bit of pull that helps your body get used to stretching. If you are more flexible, like me, and have a little bit more of a range of motion in your hamstrings, you can keep using the strap, or you can set the strap aside and either wrap your hands behind your shins, tuck your hands under your feet, and work on straightening your legs. No matter where you are in this pose, whether you're using a strap, whether you're creating an L shape, or whether your nose is touching your knees, I want you to focus on taking deep breaths in through your nose and exhaling out the nose. And as you exhale out, as you let the breath out, see how much of your body you can relax. Now, this is a standing forward fold, so it's a little bit more active than our regular seated forward fold. But I want you to feel into your outer hips, the backs of your legs, the backs of your knees, and see how much, as we're here for a couple minutes, you can incrementally gain a little bit of flexibility in the backs of your legs. Flexibility happens over time, and it happens intentionally. We have to consistently breathe and release, because we're gently teaching our muscles to create more space, to create more range of movement. And this takes time. You're not going to see results just doing this class once. You'll want to do this class multiple times, maybe a couple times a week for several weeks to see results. Continue to breathe wherever you are. See if you can stretch a little bit more, get a little closer to your legs, or maybe straighten your legs a little bit more. But of course, if you feel any pain, any sharp shooting pain, back off. Flexibility is not achieved through damage or pain. It is achieved through gentle progress. Wherever you are, bend the knees deeply, roll yourself up to standing, maybe give yourself a little wiggle. You did great, no matter where you are. From here, we're going to come into our Malasana squat, our yogi squat. Now, you want your feet a little wider than your hips, toes out, heels in. It doesn't matter how wide out your toes are, just make sure it's comfortable for your knees. And you're just going to bend your knees and come into a very deep squat. Now, this is what on the screen I'm doing what a Malasana squat looks like, but of course, that requires a lot of flexibility. So let's see if we can get you a little closer to that. You can stack your blocks or block-like objects as a little chair and use them like I just showed. You can stack them on lower levels, lower your bum to those. Knees still out, hands at heart center. And as you gain more flexibility, you can use fewer and fewer blocks on lower and lower settings. No matter where you are, find yourself a little sit spot here in your Malasana. Bring your hands to heart center. If you can, press your elbows into your knees to open them up. And if this is too much for you, you can also always mimic this by lying down on your back, hugging the knees into the chest, and using your hands to pull your knees open towards your shoulders. It has a similar effect. You have to use your arms a little bit more, but it works similar muscles and encourages similar flexibility. Just like we did in the forward fold, breathe in deep through the nose, and with every breath out through the nose, see if you can relax and release a little bit more. Malasana Yogi Squat is one of the best poses, both for hip flexibility and mobility, but also for low back pain. If you ever experience tension or pain in your back, this pose allows your spine to stretch and decompress. We can hold so much tension in our bodies simply from our day-to-day moving around and existing in a universe, on a planet that has gravity. But this allows your spine to kind of get a little bit of a release from that pressure that gravity exerts on us every day. No matter where you are, continue to breathe. We're holding fairly deep postures for about 2 minutes here today. And that takes diligence and attention. While you're here in these poses, the more you can focus on how your breath feels, and the more you can keep yourself open. Say yes to what your body is feeling and experiencing, as long as it's not pain. No matter where you are, you're going to be doing a great job. Now, to come out of this yogi squat, we're just going to straighten the knees to come into our forward fold and roll up to standing, or press through the heels to lift yourself up to standing. Beautiful. Come on down now to your knees, and this is where you want 2 blocks. I'm going to have mine on the tallest setting, but you do you, figure out what works for you. From where we are, standing on our knees, bring the right foot forward so the leg is straight out from your hip. Make sure that your right foot is in line with your right hip and your left knee is in line with your left hip. You can always use a chair or a table to help you with your balance here. I'm using blocks. We're coming into a low lunge, and we're going to be in this low lunge for about 2 minutes on each side. And what I want you to focus on here isn't collapsing your torso over your front leg. I want you to focus on lifting up through your torso and letting your hips fall forward instead. So if you're using a table or the back of your couch, stay lifted up through your shoulders and see how much you can release your hips toward the mat. If you're using blocks or books like I am, bring those underneath your shoulders. Use them to keep your spine nice and lifted. And again, still same thing, let your hips fall forward. We want to feel a stretch in the front of the left hip area. This stretches your psoas muscle. Your psoas muscle is what enables you to walk and lift your legs. It's also what enables you to sit. When you're sitting down at your desk, this is the muscle that is having the most strain put on it. So when we come into a low lunge, we're literally taking our psoas muscle in the opposite direction. This is a beautiful pose if you sit for work, or you drive for work, or you just find yourself sitting a lot throughout the day. This is a beautiful counter pose just to give your psoas a little bit more flexibility and range of motion and to help alleviate some pain. And like I said, we're going to be holding these lunges for 2 minutes. So just like we've done in the other two poses, breathe in through the nose, out through the nose, and with every breath out, see how much you can relax. See how much you can let the hips sink down. The key thing here is to keep that right knee directly over the right ankle. Otherwise, your hips can sink as far as they can go. But of course, if you feel any sharp shooting pain, back off. We don't get bonus points for hurting ourselves. Press through that front heel, straighten the leg, and come back to rest on your heels in a kneeling position. Take a second, maybe feel into how your right leg feels as opposed to your left, and vice versa. And then we're going to come to the other side. Move gently here. This is a really long held pose. Step that left foot forward, and once again, make sure that your left foot and knee are in line with your left hip, and your right knee is in line with your right hip. If you're using a table or the back of a couch to help balance, just like on the other side, lift up through the chest so you have a nice tall spine. Keep that left knee over the left ankle and let your hips sink to the mat. If you're using blocks like I am, bring them underneath your shoulders, press into them to make yourself a little taller, and let your hips sink forward. And if you need to adjust your foot forward or back, always do that. Like I said, we don't get bonus points for hurting ourselves. We don't get bonus points for overextending ourselves. You want to find just the edge of where your resistance is and rest at that edge. Breathe in and out through the nose. Take a moment to feel into what your body is experiencing right now. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Do you feel resistance anywhere? Is your body screaming at you to stop, or is it encouraging you to go forward? Can you determine, is that an internal resistance, or is that your body telling you to back off? Or maybe it's your mind telling you to go further than really your body wants to. Feel into that question of what is going to work best for you here in this moment today. Sometimes backing off is the best thing we can do. Continue to breathe in and out through the nose. You're almost there. You're doing a great job. Press through that left heel to bring the left knee back to the right and sit back on your heels. Maybe rub the thighs or pat the hips if that feels good. You did amazing. Now from here, we're going to come to the center of our mat and we're going to come into butterfly pose. You're going to bring the soles of your feet to touch and just bring them to a space away from your groin that is comfortable. They can be a little farther away, they can be closer, up to you. And also, it doesn't matter if your knees are super high up or if they're flat on the floor. If they're super high up, it might help to have some blocks underneath your knees just as extra support so your low back is a little more supported. If you're a little closer to the mat, you can try pushing on your knees just to see if you can get a little extra flexibility. Up to you, feel into it. And no matter where you are, take a deep breath in, lift up through the spine, and then exhale, fold forward. Tuck the chin into the chest. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Wrap your hands around your feet. And maybe see if you can pull yourself towards your feet a little more. And if reaching for the feet is uncomfortable, you can use a strap and wrap the strap around your feet, very similarly to what we did on our standing forward fold, and gently pull yourself towards your feet or your ankles. We'll be here for 2 minutes, just like in the other poses. And become aware of your breath. We're stretching a different part of our hip and our inner thigh now. Our hip joints have the widest range of motion of any part of our body. They can move in circles, front and back, side to side. So in our lunge, we were stretching their ability to move forward and back. With the hip circles and with butterfly, we're stretching their ability to move side to side, to open up to the left and to the right. And it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter how open you are. It doesn't matter if you can stretch as much as I can. If you can feel a sensation, you are stretching and you are serving your body. If it gets to be too intense or you feel pain, back off. Flexibility is gained, like I said, slowly over time. It's not something you can force yourself to be. It takes gentleness and finesse, which is what we're aiming for here in this class, with those deep breaths in and out, incrementally trying to relax into each posture. Go ahead and wherever you are, come back up to a straight spine. If you used a strap, set it aside, and use your hands to bring your knees together. If you weren't already facing the long way on your mat, turn to do so now, and we're going to come into our seated forward fold. This is going to be very similar to our standing forward fold. We're going to use the strap, wrap it around the balls of your feet, and use the strap to pull your chest, pull your heart towards your knees. If you need to bend your knees here, do so. Sometimes I really like to put a block underneath my knees just to get a deeper stretch in my hamstrings. It's up to you. No matter where you are, wrap your strap around the balls of your feet. Inhale up nice and tall, and exhale, use the strap to pull your chest towards your knees. We don't want to curve in the spine here. We don't want to sink or collapse into the low back. We want to really focus on stretching through the hamstrings. So the straighter you can keep your back, the better. We're not going to be here as long as in the other poses, but continue to breathe in through your nose, exhale out through the nose, and with every exhale, see if you can release a little bit more, or maybe pull yourself a little further forward with the strap. Go ahead and release. Come up to a straight spine, set the strap aside, maybe give your legs a little wiggle, and then come to a cross-legged or comfortable position in the center of your mat. We're gonna do a quick little arm mobility sequence. So stretch the right arm straight out to the side, make a fist with your palms facing down. From here, you're going to twist your arm, twisting the palm to face up and face down, but focus on creating that movement from your shoulder. So your shoulder is going to move forward and back, and that is what's going to be driving these turns, moving your fist to face up or face down. It's a pretty minute movement. You might not move very far. You're focusing on moving your shoulder forward and back, Give it a shake, and we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So left arm straight out, make a fist, pivot the shoulder joint forward, palm comes to face up, and then pivot the shoulder back, twisting the palm face up again. Continue just like that, focusing on how your shoulder feels, focusing on using your shoulder to move your arm as opposed to your elbow or your wrist. Go gentle here. You don't need to go hard. The arms are a pretty tender spot on our body, so just be very gentle with yourself here. Beautiful. Give it a shake, and then grab your strap for this last exercise. This is one of my favorites, partially because it feels so good, especially if you sit at a desk or hunch over your phone a lot. So you want to grab the strap in both hands, make sure your hands are a little wider than your shoulders, and bring the strap onto your knees. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, and just see how far behind you your arms can relax. If you need to widen your grip like I did on your strap, do so, and just let your arms fall behind you, let your shoulders and your chest open up. Hopefully this feels really, really good. Continue to breathe. You're doing amazing. And then exhale the hands back down over the knees. And we're just going to add a little bit of mobility here. So inhale, circle the arms up and back behind you. Exhale, lower them down in front of you. Maybe adjust your grip on the strap if you need, but continue just like that. Inhaling to circle the arms up behind you. Exhale, up and around in front of you. Beautiful. Continue just like that. Don't rush it here. Don't push it. Adjust your grip as you need. Gently challenge yourself. Beautiful. Set the strap off to the side. Give your shoulders a little shimmy. Give your hips a little wiggle. And then inhale the arms down, around, and up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And you're done. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this beginner flexibility class, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I have lots more beginner classes coming your way this month. And until next time, have a lovely rest of your day. Bye for now.